Well, yeah. So saw a lot of things we can do better. We have another gear to get to that I don't think we got to last night. We did it in stretches. We had some positive things in stretches. It wasn't as bad as it felt going through it. And it wasn't as bad as everybody, somebody last night you say dominated. There's things we can do better to take away that feeling. They're a very good team. We all know that. But we're a good team too. We had the same record. So we got to go in with that confidence and that feeling of understanding and say, hey, look, they put their pants on one leg at a time too, and one shoe at a time. I haven't seen them, jump in and pull them up at the same time. So we got to go in with that belief, that understanding. And I have a belief that we will play better and get to that next gear, the next game.
The word you kept on using after the game yesterday was quickness, and didn't have the quickness getting out to shooters, didn't have just the overall.
Anticipation is a better word. Anticipation is better because every player in the NBA is quick. They have a level of quickness at their position, but more anticipation is a better term I should have used.
So do you think you have that in this rotation and roster?
Yeah, we do, no question. There's no question with our roster. It's about our execution of what we need to do and our anticipation of what we need to do.
Here's how much you value defense. To give up 30 in each of the first 3 quarters, how do you get that back to
again, Steve, and don't mean to cut you short, but the league is changing. The league is changing, and believe me, you got to change or get stuck in the mud. It's more of a scoring league now. I mean, you saw what San Antonio had done to them last night. We've got to score points. We've got to manufacture points and not get our dauber down because the other team scores. If they score, boom, next play. We got to have a next play mentality. Not to say defense is not important. It is, but we can't get caught up in we got to stop them, and I think the days of the 24-point quarters, the 25-point quarters are kind of sliding away. We got to make sure we have the mentality and we have the players to do it, to put points on the board, tit for tat, and slow them down as much as possible.
So what's a reasonable number for them to score?
I'll get into that. That's a summertime thing. That's the summertime. 30 is too many for right now, today. But as far as going forward, the analytical people will sit down this summer. But this is becoming more of a scoring league all across the board.
Dwane, do your guys still let their offense kind of dictate how they play defensively at times?
What do you mean by that?
In terms of if the offense isn't going, the defense suffers. Just in terms of
a little bit. Well, I think a little bit of both. I think it's what Steve was saying. I think they score on us. We kind of, instead of getting the ball out and attacking, we start thinking, think about we should have done this. No, let's go play. And we've got to have that next play mentality offensively and defensively. But again, we can't carry our missed shots to the other end both ways. So it's got to be a next play mentality on both sides of the ball.
I mean, you guys had some success going smaller. Obviously, changing your lineup helped against the Bucks. I mean, is that something you're looking at again?
No, we got to just play that next gear, Michael. Whoever's on the floor. Again, we got to make sure we have the right guys on the floor, but at the same time, everybody that's on the floor, whether it's Jonas, whether it's Pirtle, whoever it is, they have another level of anticipation of where to go to, how to get there, and get there quicker. And last night we were half a step away from getting to where we needed to go.
But if you're trying to manufacture more points, can you do it better with more ball handlers, more shooting on the floor?
That's pretty obvious, I think. I don't think JV's going to handle the pick and rolls and that type of thing. So, but again, they still have Tristan Thompson down there to deal with. They still have Love, who is one of the best offensive rebounders in the league, to deal with. So matching those is, not only just defensively, but keeping them off the boards. I think Tristan had 14 last night. So there's a place for the big man to do his job on the floor.
Can you ugly it up against LeBron a little just to slow things down and throw bodies?
Trap. Yes, all those, everything's in play. All those are in play. The traps, the double teams. Again, we got to get a little closer. I don't know if they felt us last night whatsoever. We were half a step off, respecting their speed a little bit too much. they've got to feel us a little bit better. And then the next guy's got to be ready to anticipate and get there quicker.
Dwane, do you think at times, and not just your team, in general, players get caught, for lack of a better term, being in awe of what LeBron does and how he moves and his domination?
That's possible. We used to do that with Michael Jordan. We used to have to tell Gary Payton and those guys, hey, he puts his pants on one leg. I think that's natural. It's human nature to watch a Michael Jordan or Karl Malone and, spectate until they hit you in the mouth. But if a guy hits you in the mouth a few times, now what are you going to do? And so I think that's the mentality we got to have. They punched us. And again, the series has gone nowhere. They've done what they're supposed to do. They won the first game. It didn't feel good. But again, it's a long series. And so, we've got to make sure we do what we're supposed to do. And some things we're going to change as far as maybe sending extra bodies or, as he says, muck it up a little bit. But even doing that, the anticipation of the next play, the next move has got to be there.
When a guy can do what he did last night, this is his 14th year. It's not like 5 years in, 6 years in, 7 years in. You ever get amazed at this stage that he can do this that well?
Well,
still?
I've seen the Magics. I've coached against the Magics, the Jordans, and all those guys are freak of natures. This guy's no different. But again, it's a team game. It's a team game. There's some other things you can do to help against him, but he does some things extraordinary. But that means we have to do our job extraordinary. Anticipation, help, double teaming, whatever it is, we've got to do what we're supposed to do to help minimize or negate a little bit of that. You're not going to stop a guy like that because he's got buddies out there with him too, and he's a great passer. But our anticipation, our level of force, it has another gear to go to that we didn't display last night.
Traditionally, when you guys have run, it's been off of misses. And when I asked Kyle about it, he's like, well, even when they make, we have to stop looking for the play call, just go. And that's what you said. How much has that changed over, even the last 3 years, 5 years? Well,
it goes back to what Steve asked earlier. The game is changing, and we've got to make sure we're in that movement of changing, of playing faster. A lot of shots, oh man, why did he take that three-point? He had a lane. Well, again, you got to attempt those. What did Houston have last night? 50 attempts. And, you've got to. Three-point shooters have to take their shots. We got to get a size smaller shoe for Tuck, where he gets off that line a little bit. But he's got to take those shots. Those are his shots.
Do you want to get the three-point attempts up?
Love to, and makes even more so.